What's good, everyone? It's Nigel here, Black Sex Apparel. So, I wanted to jump on today. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to talk about actually, but I thought, thought long and hard about this. So, I wanted to jump on and talk to you a little bit about bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding versus enhanced bodybuilding. Right? It's something I know quite a lot about. I believe, well, at least the natural side of bodybuilding. So I'd like to share my views on it with you, and anyone thinking about bodybuilding, any youngsters who are thinking about going into bodybuilding, who would like to try it, interested in it, I'm not sure where to go, what side to go to, what to do, what bodybuilding entails. Hopefully, this video would cover quite a lot of these topics for you and point you in the right direction. So I'm a natural bodybuilder. I've been bodybuilding since 2011, 2012, I believe. I've won numerous titles, from British titles to European titles to world titles. So I'm quite clued up on the sports itself and bodybuilding, the natural side of it. Now, there's always debates had with the natural side of bodybuilding and the enhanced side of bodybuilding. The biggest shows in the world for bodybuilding, as most of you would probably know, is the Olympia. That's the IFBB, an IFBB affiliation. You've got the Arnold Classics as well, which seems to be placed second to the Olympia. Though the Arnold is Classic is growing year in, year out. The IFBB, however, remains the pinnacle for bodybuilding. It appears. But as we know, the IFBB show, or you may not know, the IFBB shows are not tested show. They are, basically take what you want and compete as an IFBB professional or IFBB professional bodybuilder, essentially. And that, I think, leads people in the wrong direction. Now, the IFBB being the biggest federation in the world, when you look up becoming a bodybuilder, you predominantly see IFBB type bodybuilders, whether that be the open class, which is the freaks, the 212 division, which is also freaks, the classic class division, again, really big guys, and then you go down to men's physique, guys with really incredible physiques, So when you initially look up bodybuilding, I'm sure those guys are the first people you would see. Now, if you know anything else, anything about bodybuilding, you would know there is a natural side to bodybuilding as well, and that's the shows that I do. So natural bodybuilding is what I do. I've been doing it since 2011, and that means you are drug tested and even polygraphed before you compete at a natural bodybuilding show. Now, for me, not being biased, that's for me the right way to go, right? If you were to look at the side effects of taking PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, it's not good for the most part, in my opinion. I'm no doctor, but I can only go by what I see and what what I've seen over the years. The amount of bodybuilders or IFBB pros that's died or are now severely ill from taking PEDs is astronomical by comparison to the guys in the natural bodybuilding world. Now, what you decide to do as a competitor moving forward in the bodybuilding world is totally down to you. I'm here to persuade you to stick to the natural side of bodybuilding. And yes, you may say I'm biased because I am a natural bodybuilder, but I'm also, health is the number one factor in all of this. It's what bodybuilding should be about and what it is about. And, whereas it seems to have taken another path, it's gone down the route of, like I said, the biggest shows in the world are not the natural shows and natural bodybuilding shows. The biggest shows, bodybuilding shows in the world, are the unnatural side, the IFBB side. So, people are more interested in seeing the freaks, it appears, rather than seeing the guys in the natural. And believe me, there are some freaks in the in the natural bodybuilding world, right? I'm not sure if I'm one of them, but if you look up some of my videos or photos, or I'm sure you'd understand what I'm talking about when it comes to natural bodybuilding. So, and of course, the debates. You often hear people online arguing about who's natural and who isn't. That's another thing that you have to put up with, or I have to put up with. And I always make the argument that why would I, as a natural bodybuilder, put myself out there as a natural? I put myself out there as a natural bodybuilder because I am. If you look at some of the top natural bodybuilders out there, some of the guys with the best physiques, you look them up, and they could, cross over into the unnatural side of bodybuilding and do quite well and be some of the top guys in the unnatural side of bodybuilding, in the IFBB. But most of us, the majority of us, choose to stay, competing as natural bodybuilders. Now, the accolade you get from competing as a natural versus the accolade you get from potentially keep competing as an IFBB pro is astronomical. It's a huge difference, right? In terms of the publicity you would get and the fame you could get and the money you could make competing as an IFBB pro versus competing as a natural is astronomical. It's vast. It's wide. There's a massive variation, monetary wise anyway, and in terms of your social media following and whatnot. Most of the guys who compete for the IFBB or the pros that compete for the IFBB has huge followings, massive following. That results in them potentially making money, whether it be from personal training or just from posting on Instagram or posting on social media in general. The bigger your following, the more likely you are to have, to make an income from the sport. You flip that over to the natural bodybuilding side of the sport, and most of the guys are not making an income from competing, right? Natural bodybuilders compete for essentially the love of the sport. We love competing, and we'd rather do it a natural way and not do it any other way. For me to do it any other way is scary. For me to take something that's not prescribed by a doctor, whether I inject it or take it orally or whatever, it's scary to me, right? So I would never, ever even consider going down that route. And I do. That's not to say I don't understand why some people do. They do it because the fame and what the fortune that it potentially brings. But the number of people who make it as an IFBB pro and become one of the top guys is also few and far between. A lot of the guys who are taking whatever they are taking to enhance their physique don't ever make it near an IFBB pro stage, right? So the guys who make it are elite, and they would have been elite naturals as well if they stuck to being natural bodybuilders. I think what you find now, and I'm probably going all over the place, I appreciate, but I think what you find now is everybody wants it today, or they want to achieve that physique tomorrow. No one wants to put the work in, right? And what you'd find is even the top IFBB pros, like I said, would have been really top naturals had they stayed natural. They had genetics obviously plays a part in this sport, a huge part in this sport. And that's something people have to understand. So you can't just jump on to, I'm going to become a bodybuilder, and the next week you meet someone down the gym and say, yeah, you take this, mate, and you could be an IFBB pro. It doesn't work like that. You have to work out whether, not everyone has the genetics to be a top pro or top bodybuilder, whether it be natural or enhanced, right? So you first have to work out whether you have the physique, whether you have the genetics, whether you have what it takes, dedication, of course, hard work, etc., to become, if that's what you want, what you would like to achieve, is pro status. You need to really work out whether you have the genetics in the first place to compete as a pro before you even think about doing anything that's going to enhance your physique to perform to perform on a natural on an IFBB stage, all right? So I find it really frustrating that the vast majority of, it seems like a lot of youngsters coming into the sports now seems to be focus on just getting, I need to get big. I need to, and yes, there's a bit of vanity to the sport. I want to impress this one with with the way I look and how much I lift and whatnot. There's a lot of that goes on in the sports, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if a bit of vanity forces you to work a bit harder, to lift a bit heavier, and of course the results are a better physique essentially. But you have to be smart about the way you do it. I often say, when you get to the gym, leave your ego at the door. That's the first thing you do. You get to the gym, leave your ego at the door. You shouldn't be there to impress anyone. You're in there you go to the gym to work hard. Forever long you're in there, an hour and a half, 45 minutes, you go there, you work hard, you leave. Right, that's it. So you're not there to impress anyone, and for the most part, if you take your ego into the gym, that's how you end up injured. Back issues and this issues and whatever. And so firstly, you get to the gym, leave your ego at the door. Be consistent with what you're doing. Consistency is key. And that's not just consistently going to the gym. You have to consistently eat well, rest as best as you can. And it's a combination of all three: eat, sleep, train, repeat. You hear people say this all the time. It's a common phrase, right? Eat, sleep, train, repeat. I think people just gloss over it and not really think about it, but that's essentially what it takes. It's really a simple. It's breaking down bodybuilding in its simplest form. Of course, there's a lot more to it, right? But it's breaking it down in its simplest form: eat, sleep, train, repeat. And if you stick to that model, then you'd find that you probably wouldn't go wrong. You wouldn't go far wrong, So yeah. Enhance versus natural. The guys out there in a natural bodybuilding world, I truly believe, for the most part, are natural bodybuilders, right? Especially the guys at the top of the game, at the elite level in the natural bodybuilding world. I believe they are truly natural, because these guys, believe me, we have the genetics, and I put myself in that category. The genetics to cross over into the unnatural side and compete with the top guys in the unnatural side of bodybuilding. Why we choose not to do it, as I said, it brings you a lot more fame, potential fortune, followers, blah blah blah, subscribers, whatever. If you were to cross over into that world, why stay natural? You ask yourself. It's because, again, I mean, I can't answer for every individual. For me personally, it's just not what I'm about. It's just not bodybuilding for me. It's it is, but for me, in my world and the way I feel about it, I could never even contemplate doing it, because it's just not me. It's just not something I do. So I'd rather stay a natural and have a lesser following, have people accuse me of being not natural, which is, I used to take as an insult. Now I take it as a compliment. Thank you very much if you do. That shows you that I've busted my backside to create a great physique with the help of some half decent genetics as well. I found a sport that I enjoy doing. Of course, bodybuilding. Again, that's another thing, right? There's a lot of people out there who are, I imagine, would be heck of a lot better than me. There's a lot of people out there who could be a potential LeBron James or Usain Bolt or whatever, but they've never discovered the sport, right? The difference between the LeBron James and a say, I don't know, Michael Jordan or whoever, the top guys, is that they've happened to find, or they found a sport that they are good at. And they've gone with it, they've rolled with it, right? The Mike Tysons and the Muhammad Ali's and all these guys, the top people in the world, the top sports stars, they just so happen to find a sport that they are good at. They stuck to it, and as a result, they became role models and heroes and celebrities and people that are looked up to. So it's for me, I've been lucky in the sense that I found bodybuilding. I happen to have genetics for bodybuilding, and that goes a long way. That goes a long way. So yeah, natural or enhanced. So wrap this video up, I'd say stick to obviously I would not advise you to do anything but stick to going to the gym, working hard, and staying natural. Not taking anything, not prescribed by someone who is qualified to prescribe that to you, a doctor, right? And to risk your life, for an extra bit of biceps or quads, is just counterproductive. It goes against everything of what I believe bodybuilding should represent. It should be the healthiest sport in the world. You should, look good, feel good, going to the gym, trying to better yourself by enhancing the way you look physically, and as a result of you trying to look better physically, you get better internally as well. So you're healthier as an individual. That's what bodybuilding or achieving a good physique should be about. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want to obviously compete in the bodybuilding world, then there's lots of natural bodybuilding shows out there for you to compete in or compete as. There is no need for you to cross over or go into the other world of other side of bodybuilding. Learn your physique, train hard, train every body part equally. As a beginner, that's a mistake I made when I started. Train every body part equally, and see where it takes you. But most of all, enjoy training, enjoy bodybuilding, enjoy the physique you're creating. The thing about bodybuilding is that the one thing I love about this sport is, you can't buy a good physique. You could go to the shops and you could buy yourself some fancy Black Aesthetics tops, right? You could buy yourself a tank top, or you could buy yourself a pair of nice jeans, fitted jeans, or whatever. If you haven't got a good physique to carry that off, then it doesn't matter what you wear, right? It doesn't matter what you wear. Your physique is what carries the clothing off. If you ever go into a shop to buy clothing and you look at a mannequin that's displaying the clothes you're about to buy, there's a reason why you don't tend to see an out of shape mannequin. The mannequin's always in shape. Have you noticed that? The mannequin is always in shape. That's because the clothes on a mannequin that's in shape looks good, right? You're not going to put a mannequin on something that doesn't look good, right? So that's the clue. That's the clue in itself. You may look at that top and think, oh yeah, that top looks good, but is it going to look good on you? You go ask yourself that question. It would only look good on you if you've gone to the gym, you've put the work in, and you look good. You look aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetics over everything. It's a brand, my brand slogan, Black Aesthetics. So look good, feel good. Go to the gym, build a good physique. Have patience. It will happen. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Everything takes time, but believe me, it will be worth it in the end. So yeah, that's my take. Please like, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Let me know what you want to talk about, what you want me to talk about in the comments field. And like I said, like and subscribe. It helps me out. Check out Black Aesthetics online. And I'll see you guys on the next video. For now, take care. Peace.